Should Biden stay? Should he go? Do Democrats want him to stay, or will they get rid of him? Will they keep him? Here's what Senator John Fetterman has to say about the issue. If you guys will get this ready, this is video clip number 1. Let's go ahead and roll that. Por favor, Eric.
You know, they've got a movement called Abandon Biden. They've supported him in the past, and now they're actively campaigning against him.
And that whole abandon Biden thing, that's the dumbest I've ever heard. I mean, if you are more inclined to vote for a Democrat or be a Democrat, if you're willing to walk away from Joe Biden, you're by defecting helping Trump. And that's really it is. And if any of that kind of a movement has that kinds of move, then they want to play with that kind of fire, they better earn that burn.
All right. So that is Senator John Fetterman. I can't believe, Eric, that I'm sitting here and saying that John Fetterman is offering some wise advice to Democrats. But this guy has been, even though he is a left winger, he has been one of the more sensible liberals in the Democrat Party. And I think he's right. I think getting rid of Joe Biden, even though he's senile, and everybody got to see it, despite the left attempting to gaslight us for months, I think that Fetterman is right. All right, I'm going to get back to this Axios column in just a second, and then I want to talk to you about or delve into some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, or the big picture that a lot of people aren't talking about, because I want you to understand that what's playing out with Joe Biden, what's playing out with Democrats, it isn't just about should Biden stay, should Biden go. It's so much more. It's an intra-party struggle that is playing out right before our eyes, and I absolutely love seeing it. I'm going to throw something at you, and then I'm going to go through the details to try to make my point. I'm not even sure that I'll get to finish it up in this hour, but we'll continue on with the discussion. This clock goes so fast when you're on Mike Gallagher's show. His team, his team just does a wonderful job making this show flow. But there's intra-party turmoil that is playing out right before our eyes. That's what you saw with Senator John Fetterman. The question behind the scenes, really, for Democrats is not should Biden stay or should he go. It is, but it isn't. What's really happening behind the scenes is who's going to control the party. That's the bigger fight that's playing out that I'm thoroughly enjoying, quite frankly, with the Democrat Party. And I want to make this clear. Again, it doesn't matter who the Democrats put up. The Democrats are a system party. It doesn't matter if it's Gavin Newsom. It doesn't matter if it's Gretchen Whitmer. It doesn't matter if it's J.B. Pritzker. I know J.B. Pritzker. Yeah, I'll get into that. Doesn't matter if it's him. The Democrat Party is a system party, and Biden is just dumb enough to go far left, to not hold back, absolutely no strategy, just go to the wall, as people would say. Again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, 1-800-655-MIKE, 1-800-655-6453 is the number to call into the program. So again, with this family gathering at Camp David, it was yesterday, the Biden family said, all right, it's a no-go. Joe Biden isn't going anywhere. Hunter Biden, as you might imagine, was the most vocal, saying, don't go anywhere, Daddy. I don't want to go to prison. All right. So Hunter Biden, that's not what he said, but I'm thinking that's what he was thinking, right? So they're all in. They want him to stay. And here's what you have to understand, and I'm going to break this down. Joe Biden and Jill Biden control the White House. Barack Obama controls the party. Barack Obama is the rudder of the Democrat ship. He determines where the party goes. Anyone else would be a disruption. So you have to have puppets in place. And quite frankly, Barack Obama has controlled the party since 2008. Let me get into this column. It was a great column by the American Spectator, gentlemen there. The debate might be the end of the road for Barack Obama. Now, he says might, and I'm glad that he says might, because there's a lot of people out there, and David Ackman, who is I think he's I think he's a Democrat, but he's a hedge fund guy, makes a lot of money, obviously a multi-billionaire. I heard Hugh Hewitt for a few minutes this morning mentioning he's saying that Trump is going to win in a landslide. If Republicans adopt that right now, that mentality, we're going to lose. All right. It is neck and neck. In my opinion, this race shouldn't be neck and neck. If you're on the left, you're thinking this race shouldn't be neck and neck, right? Because you're thinking, oh, here we are, we're battling this convicted felon and all this kind of stuff. And then on the right, you're thinking like we're battling a senile old man. And even though Trump has the upper hand on some of these swing states, there's pockets of voters, whether it's elderly people for Biden, where he has some favorabilities, whether it's younger people where Trump is growing or gaining some momentum, and minorities as well. The race could still go either way. What's going to matter in the end, quite frankly, isn't the debate, because this debate, I don't think this one will be forgotten, but it will be in the past. A lot's going to happen between now and November. But what's going to matter is ballots. What's going to matter is getting out the vote. So I encourage you, or I discourage you from any talk that this is going to be a landslide election. Let's pray to God that it is. Let's pray to God that with the odds that we have of retaking the Senate, that we do so with great numbers, strong numbers. Let's pray and hope and work to make sure the same is true in the House. All right. But now, getting to this column, what everybody witnessed last Thursday night, what I witnessed and what you witnessed when I was sitting in the Salem News Channel studio up in Arlington in Dr. Sebastian Gorka's office, which is really cool, by the way, is that Biden isn't the problem. The media is trying to say that Joe Biden is the problem, or the debate was the problem. I'm sorry. Joe Biden's debate performance was horrible. But the debate isn't the Democrats' problem. The debate isn't Joe Biden's problem. Joe Biden has dementia. And you will never be able to unsee it. Independents, right? Moderates, undecideds will never be able to unsee it. It's like when you go to the beach. Everybody's out there looking good, bathing suits and in their swimming trunks. And then you have somebody with a blast from the past, like they're still in the 70s, some dude that comes out in a Speedo. It's something that you just can't unsee. And that is the problem that the Democrat Party is facing. However, they are going to continue to gaslight us because they cannot let everything fall. Callers, I see you out there. The calls are starting to come in. 1-800-655-MIKE. I promise I will get to you shortly. 1-800-655-6453. But the problem with Biden wasn't his debate performance as much as he has dementia. And now everybody knows it. Everybody has seen it. Not even Democrats can deny that Joe Biden's performance was a complete and utter disaster. But they're chalking it up to just the debate. All right? So Democrats post-debate defense, what is it? It's the same old, same old. And this is why I am not gonna give a pass to Dana Bash, and I'm not going to give a pass to Jake Tapper. Quite frankly, call me the angry black man. I'm so sick and tired of hearing conservatives and reading outlets that are even conservative. Yay, Dana Bash and Jake Tapper did their job. I'm sorry. So what's happening right now is you're going to see this continued demonization of former President Donald Trump. They're going to continue to call him a liar. By the way, I'm going to delve into that more in the third hour. And then you even have the left that's lashing out at Jake Tapper and Dana Bash for, guess what? For doing their job. And here's what Trump's team doesn't get credit for. Because I heard a conservative commentator opine, well, see, conservatives, we were wrong on this issue. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash, we were attacking them so heavily. It was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. It turns out they were so great at this and blah, 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 blah. And I understand that's where most of the right-wing media is, if you will. But I want to give credit to the Trump campaign for neutralizing the threat. Carl, what do you mean? Did you guys see Caroline Leavitt all over television neutralizing the threat? Didn't you hear the Trump campaign neutralizing the threat? What they did, in my opinion, was a preemptive strike, and it was absolutely masterful because they went from radio interview to radio interview, television interview to television interview, saying that Jake Tapper and Dana Bash were going to be these left wing. I said it myself, and quite frankly, I think it was the right thing to say. And they said it, I assume, for the same purposes. Is that I wanted Jake Tapper to hear it. I wanted Dana Bash to hear it. I wanted CNN to hear it, so they would allow for a fair debate. And they did just that. So I'm not going to give them credit. All right, welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. Again, the number to call in, 1-800-655-MIKE, 1-800-655-6453. I am your guest host, Carl Jackson, sitting in for Mike. I'm going to encourage all of you that are listening in, if you like what I'm talking or what I'm speaking about, please follow me online at The Carl Jackson Show. Everywhere that I am on social media at The Carl Jackson Show, X, Instagram, Facebook, True Social Getter, wherever I am on social media, predominantly Instagram, X, and Facebook at The Carl Jackson Show. Also, please subscribe to my podcast wherever you go to get your podcast, The Carl Jackson Show. Again, what we're witnessing play out before our eyes is a bigger struggle than I think all of us have realized, and I think this columnist from the American Spectator has got it right. We're witnessing an intra-party turmoil where it's going to be decided who's going to continue to control the party. Biden can have the White House. Jill Biden, otherwise known as Edith Wilson, because she's doing a lot of running. She's running the White House by and large. All right. But they can have the White House. What they can't have is the party. And that's playing out before our eyes. Let me go to the calls real quick. I'm going to ask you callers to be quick, if you will. I want to try to get as many of you can in this hour. Let's go to Deborah. Deborah is in Jacksonville, Florida. Deborah, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. You've got the mic.
Thank you very much. Actually, it probably might be Tammy Duckworth that he'll put on the ticket. She was considered at the same time as Kamala Harris. And if you look up Tammy Duckworth, she was a veteran. Her father was a veteran. And also when she was elected to Congress, believe it or not, she had a baby in her 50s, which she was bringing the baby in to be fed.
Interesting. I do remember Tammy Duckworth. Okay, interesting call. I just don't think that Tammy Duckworth, especially at this point in time, would have the name recognition, and I'm not sure that she would be a puppet. What the Democrats want, what Barack Obama, who is the titular head, if you will, of the Democrat Party wants is a puppet. He gets that in Joe Biden. They can enjoy the White House all they want. They can't transform the party. I mean, they can build on what the foundation that he's already laid. That's what's happening. Let's go to Jay. Jay is in, I'm sorry, I cannot read that. Oh, Jay is in Hawaii. Jay, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. Thank you, man. You got the mic.
Yeah, my theory is Kamala Harris.
Okay.
You mentioned Newsom and all of them, but you didn't mention Kamala Harris.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Harris for them because she holds the second powerful position in the United States, and now it's up to the first seat to be taken. Why isn't she pushed to go to the presidency? She was installed because of DEI and CRT. It's against their agenda. Now, if you don't put Kamala Harris in a position, which she isn't qualified, what's going to happen to the black votes?
Yeah. Listen, Jay, you make a very good point. I hadn't gotten to Kamala Harris yet, but I will. I will break down why the left doesn't want Kamala Harris. They believe she will be an absolute disaster. I'm not even convinced, like many of my colleagues are, that she would be as potent with the black voters as many assume as well. So I will get to the issue of Kamala Harris. Let me get back to this American Spectator column. Callers, hold on. Todd, Ed, I see you out there. If you want to call into the program, you can do so. 1-800-655-MIKE, 1-800-655-6453. We'll take more callers on this issue as well. Here's some eye-popping numbers for you. 72% don't think Biden has the mental and physical strength to be president. This is scaring the bejeebers. It is scaring the bejeebers out of the Democrat Party. 72% of registered voters don't believe Biden has the mental and the cognitive health necessary to serve as president as he continues to trail Donald Trump, according to two new polls. All right, so when we get back, we'll get into those two new polls. Plus, again, who's really running the party? We're watching the struggle, the party struggle play out. Who's going to control the Democrat Party? That's what we're watching. We'll be back. Witnessing what we witnessed, right, on Thursday night. There's no doubt our adversaries and our allies alike saw that. And let's be frank, they knew it, but that brought a whole new light to it. Joe Biden is a sundowner. Anybody that has experienced anyone with Alzheimer's, with dementia, the lights go out, you know what I'm saying? Life gets very difficult for them, very confusing for them. I think that's what Joe Biden experienced. Last week. Unfortunately, our adversaries are experiencing that, and as a result, you get headlines like U.S. bases in Europe are on high alert for possible terrorist attack. This is what happens. This is why Joe Biden has to go. Barack Obama has to go. I will continue with the conversation. I'm telling you that Barack Obama has his hands in this more than any of us know, even to my chagrin. I thought that Joe Biden would be replaced by Gavin Newsom at one point, and I've said this even in meetings recently or the Freedom Summit with Mike Gallagher, Christopher Hart. Basically, when it came to Gavin Newsom, again, I thought he would be the guy that would replace Joe Biden. And then he had that debate with Governor DeSantis, and that was a huge disaster for him. But all of a sudden, I started seeing, reading, and hearing, Gavin kind of pushing Gavin Newsom to the side, slapping him down, being admonished by the Democrat Party. And I'm like, wait a minute, what a minute. I thought this guy was in like Flynn. This column breaks down why that happened. It opened my eyes. I'm like, and I suspected what this columnist wrote, but he made it very clear for me. I want to play. We played in the first hour, Senator John Fetterman talking about the whole idea of abandoning Biden, and that movement is absolutely stupid. And now I want to play an opposing point of view, that is Congressman Jamie Raskin, who suggests that there are serious talks in the party about replacing Biden. Video clip number 2, por favor, Eric Hansen.
But obviously, there was a big problem with Joe Biden's debate performance. And there's also just a tremendous reservoir of affection and love for Joe Biden in our party. And so this makes it a difficult situation for everybody, but there are very honest and serious and rigorous conversations taking place at every level of our party because it is a political party and we have differences of point of view.
All right, so that is Jamie Raskin. And again, there are debates. And again, you have Senator John Fetterman. You had Senator Raphael Warnock basically saying the same thing. This is really stupid. I think Raphael Warnock said something like this can't even happen. And then I read a column by an attorney that said, oh, contraire, mon frere. Actually, it could happen if Joe Biden, it would be difficult. It would be tough for Democrats. But the candidate could get on state ballots if Joe Biden chose to resign now, move on now. If he doesn't do it, if he waits, even if he does it after the DNC convention, after he's nominated, it becomes a whole different legal affair. And it makes it really hard, really difficult for Democrats to do it now. So as long as Joe Biden won't resign, as long as Joe Biden says, oh, no, I'm going to keep running this puppy, right? Then Joe Biden stays in the race. Joe Biden remains. But if he does resign now, there is a way for Democrats before the convention, when the delegates are not officially pledged, to move on from Joe Biden. But they won't do it because they weigh risk. and I think they will lose the House, Senate big time if they get rid of Biden. So they're going to keep the old geezer. All right, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm somewhat of an old geezer. So let me tell you why it's going to be Biden. They could kick him to the curb, but again, this is about risk, all right? Obama is the real person that's running the show. So you have Kamala Harris, that's a puppet. You have Joe Biden, that's a puppet. So if they kept Kamala Harris, again, she would continue to be a puppet. The problem with Kamala Harris, they're not confident that she could win the election on her own. All right, so Kamala Harris, she does very well with the black female vote. She has that on lock. The problem with Kamala Harris is she polls under Joe Biden, but specifically she polls horrible among moderates, undecided, and swing state voters. So you can get all the black women you want. That's not going to be enough to win you an election. That's why they have to get her over the hump by making sure that Joe Biden is elected again. All right, so that takes care of her. Then you have Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama doesn't want the job. She doesn't want the pay cut. Plus, she doesn't want the bloom to come off of the rose. Meaning, if she were to run, if she were to win, all of a sudden Michelle Obama goes from making millions of dollars to $400,000 plus whatever a year, which would be great money for me, but not for Michelle Obama. But beyond that, the bloom comes off of the rose because now she has to legislate. She has no experience when it comes to legislation, and she probably won't be able to turn the economy around and all of the bad stuff happening so that you destroy the Obama brand. Right now, the media continues to give the Obamas cover. That will end if she becomes president. Then you got J.B. Pritzker. That's another person that's being talked about on the DL by Democrats. He's the governor of Illinois. The problem is he and his family are hugely involved in funding this transgender movement. So this chaos that you see around the country, when that comes out, he'll be a disaster. And then you have Gavin Newsom. The reason why they didn't want RFK Jr. and they slapped him down, even going hardball with RFK Jr., which is why I suspect RFK Jr. is going hard even after both Biden and Trump, but he's really gone hard after Democrats lately, is because they slapped him down. They said you can't have Secret Service. Why are they afraid of RFK Jr.? Because he would move away from Obama. He's his own man. Left or right, doesn't matter. I'm not talking about his positions. I'm talking about Obama would have to relinquish power on the Democrat Party. They risk losing DEI, CRT, all that racist nonsense. They don't want to do it. Gavin Newsom, the same thing. Gavin Newsom is dumb as a box of rocks, but what Gavin Newsom posed was a threat to Barack Obama's oligarchy, if you will. And so they can't have Gavin Newsom because Gavin Newsom, too, cool, calm, collected, handsome guy, he would take over the party. And that's what Obama doesn't want. Let's go to the calls real quick. Callers, if you can make it quick, por favor. Let's go to Barbara. Barbara is in Orlando. All right. Barbara, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. You got the mic.
What if Biden does step down and somebody goes into the presidential position? Is it possible for Barack Obama, who we all know has control, to go into that vice presidential position?
Listen, Barbara, I appreciate the call. Obama wouldn't do it, and there's no need for him to do it. The guy runs the Democrat Party. There's absolutely no need. And I think, honestly, the bloom would be off the rose. I don't think Obama could beat Trump. Guys, listen, they're weighing risk right now. It is fun to talk about all these other people. I've done it myself. But right now, the Democrats are weighing risk. They want to make sure that they stop the bleeding. They want to make sure that they don't lose the Senate in huge numbers. They thought they could at least maybe win the Senate, even though the odds are significantly against them, given the fact that there's so many opportunities for Republicans to take the Senate. And they want to make sure that they don't lose the House in huge numbers. So this is basically bloodbath, if you will, control. Let's go to Ann. Ann is in Sarasota. Ann, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. You've got the mic.
Hey, I want to remind you all of something. This is like a friggin' circus. I mean, I didn't even have to buy a ticket for this one. This is disgusting.
Yep.
When I was in the military, a military spouse 1960s, 1970s into 80s, Cuban crisis and the whole works. I was with my husband. My children were born and raised in the military. I thank my God above that we had the people at that time that were coherent, that weren't incognito, and that knew what they were doing running our country. Thank you, God, for the leaders and the men we had at that time taking care of our country. Sure. This is terrible. Obama, Michelle Obama, they courtesy to the terrorists. They know who the terrorists are. Get rid of them. Before Obama walks in and says, oh, what's this cutesy little button on my desk? We won't have to worry about anything in the United States, will we, if he hits that friggin' button?
You know, we are living, and Ann, I appreciate the call. We are living in terrifying times. There's no doubt about it. Victor Davis Hanson was out with a great column over the weekend. I'm going to go through it tomorrow when I'm back in for Mike, so make sure you tune in tomorrow as well. The logic in all the chaos. And I just want to break down, sometimes we just have to stop and think through things. And I read through this column actually this morning. I was reading just about everything I could get my hands on, especially after the Berkey ate my homework. All right, so, but just to lay out the damage that has been done in 3.5 years, just to think through it, it's devastating. It is devastating what's been done to this country. Andy, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. You got the mic.
Carl, you're killing it, man.
Thank you.
Listen, watching that debate, watching the first few minutes of it, Joe Biden was in cognitive decline 4 years ago, okay? If the Democrats could break COVID out on this country today and shut it down again today like they did earlier, they would do it in a heartbeat. Why? Because they protected Joe Biden. They hid him from the public. The press hid him, and he was exposed Thursday night for what he was, okay? The Democrats don't care nothing about us. They don't care anything about the safety of this country. They would put the safety of this country in peril to keep their person in office. And that's what we're seeing now. Okay?
Right.
And why would they go forward with Joe Biden right now? Why would they ride this dead horse to the end of the race? You know why? Because the fix was in 3 years ago. We all know that now. I think that's become a proven fact. And the fix could possibly be in today. Okay? So people, keep that in mind.
All right. Listen, Andy, I appreciate the call. All I will say is, guys, the only way that we're going to defeat the cheaters, and there's no doubt they're going to cheat because that is what they do, we have to show up in mass. You have to donate. You have to get involved. You have to vote. Vote early and then try to convince others to vote on Election Day. Democrats are in a panic. I want to show you the results of what's happening, not just here in America, but around the world as a result. I do want to play a video clip for you, a montage, if you will. This is video clip number 3, if you will, por favor, Eric Hansen.
Let's compare the Joe Biden of 2020 with whatever was left of him last week, shall we?
I do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. We're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare. All of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
Absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. Hat tip Fox News. Thank you, Tracy. After Biden's disastrous debate, campaign emails supporters on how to defend him. Bedwetting Brigade. So the Biden campaign sent out an email to supporters detailing how they could respond to their friends who are critical of President Biden's performance. Quote, if you're like me, you're getting lots of texts or calls from folks about the state of the race after Thursday. Maybe it was your panicked aunt, your MAGA uncle, or some self-important podcasters That would be me. It's a tough position to be in, so I thought it might be helpful to send you a few responses, close quote. The email comes after last week's disastrous debate for Joe Biden with Donald Trump, former President Trump, which resulted in widespread criticism. This was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there's a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. And I'm quoting. All right. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. This is from John King of CNN. It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials. It involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it, close quote. Now, remember, I told you they could kick Joe Biden to the side, all right, to the curb. They could do it. They won't do it because they're weighing the risk. Kamala Harris will be a disaster. She will not get them over the hump. All right, so if they want to usher in Kamala Harris, they have to keep Joe Biden. They don't want Gavin Newsom. He will destroy Obama's brand. They don't want RFK Jr. He will destroy Obama's brand. But you have Jill Biden and you have Joe Biden. Jill Biden can run the White House like she's doing. She can be the modern-day Edith Wilson, if you will. And, enjoy the lifestyle, enjoy the power, but they can't wrestle the party away from Obama. And that's just the way the left likes it, because Obama is fundamentally transforming America. His mission has never stopped. That is what we're enduring. That's what we're witnessing. Joe Biden is just so dumb. He's brought it about really quickly. But the truth of the matter, a lot of this stuff is going to be really hard to turn around. Sad state of affairs. But that is Joe Biden.